All right, let's welcome back in the Powerhouse panel. Full panel back with us, Christopher Arps, Mark Halperin, Betsy McCoy. Thought this was interesting. Not a big fan of Michael Moore, the, I guess you'd call him a filmmaker, a documentarian. Mark, what do you...
Artist.
An artist?
Activist artist.
An active, yeah. He had an article that just came out. In the end, he says Bin Laden won. I think if you read this in, say, the Federalist or maybe a conservative site, you'd probably say maybe. What do you think about this, Betsy? Bin Laden's been dead 10 years. If he were alive today, I think he'd be pretty darn happy with the way things ended in Afghanistan.
Well, unfortunately, this retreat by the Biden administration certainly plays into that theory, because now the Taliban, including 4 of the prisoners from Guantanamo, are now in charge. 4 of the people who actually planned and executed that 9/11 attack. And so, in a way, the Taliban is winning. Now we have 6 aircraft on the tarmac, totally held hostage by the Taliban, 6 aircraft filled with Americans and others, and it is impossible to even imagine how it's going to take off, because they'll blow it up if it tries to move.
And he founded al-Qaeda in 1988. It's been around for 30 years, including the Taliban as well. And there are now different terror organizations popping up all around Asia, the Middle East, Africa as well. I think Osama bin Laden would be fine with the way things have turned out, particularly in Afghanistan. I want to talk about the situation with Dr. Anthony Fauci. Just a quick side note, he was on CNN yesterday. Big surprise. He was talking about the new 3-dose regimen. Take a listen.
I think the latter, Jim. I mean, given the experience I've had over many years with vaccines, it looks very much like it isn't as if 2 doses of a vaccine are failing. It's that the proper regimen will very likely, as we look back on it months from now, will be that 3 doses is really what you should be getting.
All right, so I've heard a couple things about this, by the way, Mark. One is that they probably should have spaced out the first 2 doses of Moderna and Pfizer. You're not going to hear that everywhere, but we'll have Paul Mangos coming up in just a little bit here on the show. He was part of Operation Warp Speed, and we're hearing that maybe if you separated them by 3 months instead of 3 weeks, we wouldn't be looking at a 3-dose vaccine. But I should also say that 3-dose vaccines are not totally unheard of. My question for you, Mark, is do you think that Dr. Fauci may have perjured himself on Capitol Hill? He's been on Capitol Hill testifying twice about coronavirus. He denied that the NIH, headed by Dr. Fauci, helped fund the same gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology that unleashed COVID-19. And now, according to some very quality reporting, he may have lied about that.
Even before this latest release of documents, obviously there were a lot of questions about Dr. Fauci's representations about this issue. And of course, other things he said in public that have been challenged. And I think these new documents give rise to the real reality. Maybe he won't be criminally prosecuted. Maybe he won't be forced to resign. But the question about whether he gave careful and accurate answers to Congress, I think is going to be with us for quite some time.
That reporting coming from The Intercept, by the way. Chris, same question to you. And I think, so here's what I think could happen here. I think the Biden administration, they've gotten more bad press over the last month than any administration I can remember in recent history, including President Trump. I think Dr. Fauci could finally be the sacrificial lamb, because if they fire Fauci, guess what that really does? That shifts the news cycle in a monstrous way. So now could be the time. What do you think?
Well, I hope something happens. He needs to be held accountable. Dr. Fauci is splitting hairs when he said that he did not directly fund this gain of research. He did it indirectly, and I think he is culpable for this, and I'd like to see him back on Capitol Hill and Rand Paul questioning him even harder to try to get these answers. I think he probably will be a sacrificial lamb for this administration, because things are going so bad that they might have to let a head roll to show that Joe Biden is on top of this, because his polling has gone down because of his handling of the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, it's a great point, Chris.
Rob,
if he lied,
Dr.
and that
Fauci
cost lives.
Jump in and say this exemplifies a bigger problem. I think Fauci should be forced to resign, but there is a naivete within these scientific organizations inside the federal government that all these international scientists have the same goal. They all have goodwill. They're all searching for the truth. I've heard Fauci articulate that to Congress. These Chinese scientists
point,
we
Betsy.
funded with our taxpayer dollars are to be trusted. They're good guys. Finally, perhaps that has to be re-examined. We are giving away our money and our science to China. It is the enemy.
Yeah, and don't forget, if he lied,
Rob.
that's reason enough to fire him. We're tight on time, Mark. If you can give me an answer in 5 seconds.
I can. You're more likely to replace Jen Psaki than Dr. Fauci is to be fired.
You were wrong about Cuomo. They got rid of him. You were wrong
No,
about
I wasn't
Cuomo.
wrong about Cuomo.
I have the tape.
You're
yes,
just
you
making
were.
that up.
We have the tape. I'm not making that up, Mark.
Sure.
We do our thing right here on Wake Up America. I have the control room. Pull everything. We'll try to pull that. We'll have to wait and see on Dr. Fauci, but this certainly will be interesting. And you know, Betsy, we got to go. This is catnip for Rand Paul. All right, Powerhouse panel, thank you very much. We'll see you again top of the next hour.